You've walked away from good things and called it a gut feeling. You've ruined peace and told yourself it felt boring. You've returned love and called it the wrong time. And every time, it felt like a decision. It felt like you choosing. But something else was moving underneath those choices. Something quieter than a decision and older than any preference. A kind of recognition running in the background of everything you reach for. It doesn't ask whether a thing is good for you. It asks a stranger question. It asks whether the thing belongs to someone like you. And if the answer is no, it begins returning that thing before you even know you've received it. You think you're afraid of failing, but failure has never unsettled you the way success does. Watch yourself the next time something goes right, genuinely right, better than you're used to. You don't soften, you go still. You start scanning. Part of you begins the quiet work of locating the crack, because a life this good doesn't match your own records of yourself. And anything that doesn't match gets flagged. You can only keep what matches the person you already believe you are. Not the person you hope to become, but the one you quietly assume you are when no one is watching. That assumption is doing more work than any goal you have ever set. It decides what feels like yours and what feels borrowed. It decides what you sink into and what you hold at arm's length, already half planning to give it back. So a good thing arrives, and instead of joy, you feel a low static of unease. You call it not deserving it. But the discomfort isn't proof that you're unworthy. It's the feeling of holding something your sense of yourself has nowhere to place. Think about how the body treats what enters it. It has a way of knowing itself from everything that isn't. A person can receive something healthy, something needed, something that could keep them alive, and the body can still turn against it. Not because the thing is bad, because it carries the wrong signature. It reads as foreign, so the body pushes away what the person was praying would stay. You have that same border, not around your body, but around your idea of yourself. And it is just as automatic, just as blind to your wishes. Love that treats you gently can register as foreign if you were shaped by love that didn't. Money that comes without suffering can feel like a mistake if you learned early that everything has to cost you something. Steadiness can feel like danger precisely because nothing is wrong. Your system was calibrated a long time ago in rooms you didn't choose, and it keeps enforcing that calibration even now, even after you have begged it to stop. This is why the same shape keeps arriving in your life wearing different faces. The names change. The feeling doesn't. You didn't choose the pattern, but you recognize it. And recognition to a nervous system can feel almost identical to safety. The familiar ache asks nothing new of you. It fits the person you already know how to be. The unfamiliar good asks something harder. It asks you to become someone who can hold it. And that quiet demand is what you actually flinch from. Not the good thing itself, but the person you would have to become to keep it. Watch what you do when you get close to something you've wanted for years. You get inventive, and you find a flaw that wasn't there yesterday. You pick a fight over nothing. You go cold, or suddenly busy, or you talk yourself into believing you never wanted it that much. From the inside, it feels like clarity. It feels like you're finally seeing the truth about this person, this offer, this chance. But the timing gives it away. The doubt never showed up when things were going badly. It arrived the moment they started going well. That isn't intuition. That's the border doing its job, quietly expelling what doesn't match. There's a subtler version of the same move, and you may not have caught yourself doing it. Listen to how you talk about the good things when they come. You add a word of caution. You downplay. You refuse to say the hopeful sentence out loud without immediately protecting it. You describe the new job like it might disappear. The new person. Like they'll probably change their mind. The calm week like it is only visiting. You are keeping the good thing at arm's length even in the way you speak about it. Because to fully claim it would mean becoming someone who has it. And that person is still a stranger to you. And there's the way you handle proof. Someone praises you, and by evening the words have already become blurry. Someone criticizes you, and you remember the exact sentence for a week. You remember where you were standing. You remember the tone. You remember the small silence after it. This isn't because you're negative. It's because criticism matches the file you already keep on yourself, and praise contradicts it. You absorb what confirms the old picture and quietly discard what doesn't. Then you wonder why nothing anyone says ever seems to change how you see yourself. Nothing gets in that doesn't already fit. Pay attention to the rhythm of your good stretches, too. You have an unusually good week, and then something corrects it. A mood drops out of nowhere. A pointless argument. A small act of self-sabotage you can't quite explain. It feels like bad luck arriving on schedule, but it's closer to a thermostat. Your system has a temperature it considers normal, and it will cool a warm life back down to it just as surely as it will warm a cold one. It isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to return you to the reading it knows. And the rule you keep enforcing was written by someone very young. A version of you did the math once with the information a frightened person had, and they reached a quiet conclusion about how much was safe to want and how good a life was allowed to get. You have been honoring that conclusion ever since, as if it were law, as if the one who reached it knew more than you know now. They didn't. They were doing the only thing they could with the room they were standing in. You've simply never gone back to check whether that conclusion still holds. So it keeps running, unquestioned, deciding your ceiling from inside a moment that ended years ago. The strangest part is how loyal you are to the version of you that suffers. You defend it. You explain it to people. You build your sense of who you are around what you've survived. Until the wound stops feeling like something that happened to you and starts feeling like the truest thing about you. And then anything that would heal it registers as a threat. Because healing wouldn't only remove the pain, it would remove the person the pain made. So you keep the ache, not because you love it, but because letting it go feels like losing yourself. Some part of you would rather leave first than be left. Would rather end the good thing while you still control the ending than stay and risk it being taken from you. You call that self-protection. But look at what it actually protects. It protects the belief that you are always going to lose it anyway. It keeps your story intact at the cost of your life. You don't have to wrestle the border. The wrestling only convinces it there is danger. What changes it is smaller and quieter than a fight. It's the moment you stop reading the discomfort of good things as a warning and start reading it as information. The unease isn't telling you the good thing is wrong. It's telling you the good thing is unfamiliar. Those are not the same, even if your body files them in the same drawer. The life you want will always feel slightly foreign at first. It has to. If it felt completely like you would already be living it. The strangeness isn't a signal that you're in the wrong place. It's the sensation of standing somewhere your old self was never permitted to go. And you've been waiting for the wrong thing. You keep waiting to feel like yourself before you'll let the good things stay. But that feeling never comes first. You don't grow into the life and then receive it. You hold it first, awkwardly, foreignly, before you feel ready for it. And the belonging arrives afterward, slowly from the holding. The order is the reverse of what you've been standing around waiting for. So the work was never to want it harder, or to force the door, or to prove to anyone that you're ready. The work is to let the unfamiliar stay long enough to stop being unfamiliar, to hold the good thing through the static, past the point where your system wants to hand it back. Until one day, it no longer reads as foreign. It simply reads as yours. That is how the border moves, not by force. By staying inside the good thing long enough that your system stops flagging it and quietly begins to count it as you. You are not being punished by the things that keep leaving. You are being shown again and again the exact shape of what you believe about yourself. Every good thing that slipped through your hands was carrying the same message. And the message was never that you failed. It was that the self you were defending had grown smaller than the life trying to reach you. You can widen it, not today, not all at once. But the next time something good arrives and that old stillness settles over you, you will know what it is. Not a warning, not a sign. Just an old border meeting something it hasn't yet learned to call yours. And this time, you can let it stay. Perhaps the change you were searching for was never outside of you. Perhaps it was always waiting for this moment of stillness. So for now, stop pushing, stop chasing, and simply remain here, because something within you already knows the way.